Before you listen to this story, do one thing for me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it.
I didn't plan on staying the night. The village wasn't even on my map. I was driving back to the city after a long week, cutting through a forest road to save time. No signal, no streetlights, just trees pressing in on both sides like they were leaning closer the deeper I went. That's when the engine light came on. By the time the car died completely, it was already getting dark. I walked for about 15 minutes before I saw the first house. Then another. Then a few more. A village, small, quiet, and old. The kind of place that looks like it stopped updating itself decades ago. No dogs. No kids. No noise. Just houses. A man finally opened his door when I knocked. He was thin, gray-haired, and stared at me a little too long before speaking. "You can stay," he said, "but don't wander after dark." I asked about a phone, a mechanic, anything. He shook his head. "Morning," he said. "Everything works again in the morning." That should have been my cue to leave. Instead, I followed him. The room he gave me smelled like dust and damp wood. One bare bulb. A bed that creaked if I breathed too hard. No lock on the door. Through the window, I could see the edge of the jungle behind the village. Thick. Black. Too close. That night, I heard footsteps. Not outside. Inside the house. Slow. Careful. Like whoever it was knew exactly where the floorboards wouldn't creak. I held my breath, listening as the steps passed my door, paused, then moved on. No knock. No voice. In the morning, everything looked normal. The villagers were outside now, fixing nets, sweeping paths, talking quietly. I asked the man about the footsteps. He frowned. "You must have dreamed," he said. But he wouldn't meet my eyes. My car still wouldn't start, so I decided to walk to the edge of the village. Maybe I could get a signal. That's when I noticed it. An abandoned house. Slow steps. Dragging. I told myself it was an animal. Then it laughed. Not loud. Not happy. Just a soft, broken sound. Like someone practicing how to laugh without knowing why. I went back inside and shut the door. That night, the footsteps came back. This time, they stopped at my door. I could see the shadow under the gap. Too tall. Standing too close. Then a voice whispered my name. I never told anyone there my name. The handle didn't turn. It just twitched. Like whatever was on the other side didn't quite understand how doors worked. I didn't sleep. I just waited for morning. When the sun came up, the village was empty. Every house open. Food left on tables. Tools dropped where they stood. Everyone gone. Except for muddy footprints leading from the jungle into the abandoned house. And one final set of prints. Bare feet. Facing my door. My car started instantly that morning. No warning lights. No hesitation. As I drove away, I checked the mirror. Someone was standing at the edge of the trees. Watching. Smiling. And when I blinked, it was gone. I didn't tell anyone about the village. Not the police. Not my family. Not even myself, really. I treated it like a bad dream. Something that only stays real if you talk about it. For a while, that worked. 3 weeks passed. I went back to the city. Back to traffic, screens, noise. I started sleeping again. Eating properly. Convincing myself the whole thing was stress, exhaustion, imagination filling in gaps. Then the knocking started. 3 slow knocks. Always at night. Always at exactly 2:17 a.m. The first time, I thought it was my neighbor. The second time, I checked the hallway camera. No one was there. The third time, I didn't get out of bed. I just lay there listening as the knocks moved. From the front door, then the kitchen wall, then the bedroom wall. Not hitting. Testing. Like it was learning where I was. The next morning, I found mud by my door. Dark, wet earth. Not city dirt. Not pavement dust. Forest soil. I called in sick and didn't leave the apartment all day. That evening, I noticed something else. My reflection in the bathroom mirror felt delayed. Just a fraction of a second behind my movements. Enough to notice. Not enough to prove. That night, my phone rang. No number. I answered without thinking. All I heard was breathing. Slow. Careful. Familiar. Then a voice whispered, "You left before morning." The call ended. I packed a bag that same night. I don't know why I drove back. Maybe I needed proof. Maybe some part of me thought if I faced it again, it would lose interest. The forest road looked shorter this time. Too short. The village was still there, but wrong. The houses stood empty again, but now the doors were closed. Windows boarded. Paths overgrown like no one had walked them in years. Except one. A trail of bare footprints leading toward the abandoned house. The jungle around it felt thicker than before, like it had grown inward. I stood at the edge, heart pounding, telling myself I wouldn't go any further. That's when I heard my own voice, calling my name. From inside the house. I stepped back. The voice tried again. Perfect this time. My tone. My rhythm. Even the way I hesitate before saying my own name. I ran. I didn't look back until I reached the road. And when I did, I saw it standing where the village used to be. Tall. Still. Smiling wrong. Wearing my face. I left everything behind after that. The apartment. The job. The city. I moved somewhere loud, crowded, full of people and light. But sometimes, just before sleep, I hear footsteps. Slow. Careful. Learning the floor. And every time I wonder if it followed me, or if it's just waiting for me to forget it again. I tried to disappear. New city. New job. New name on paperwork. I picked a place where nobody knew my past, and nobody cared enough to ask. Tall buildings. Thin walls. Constant noise. If it followed patterns, I wanted to break them. For months, nothing happened. No knocking. No footsteps. No reflections lagging behind. I almost convinced myself it was over. Then my sister called. We weren't especially close, but we checked in now and then. She sounded tired. Distracted. You okay? I asked. She hesitated. Have you been calling me at night? I laughed. No. What? She went quiet. Then said, someone who sounds exactly like you left a voicemail. Just breathing. And then you said my name. My stomach dropped. I told her it wasn't me. That it had to be a prank. She didn't argue, but she didn't sound convinced either. A week later, she stopped answering my calls. I drove to her place that same night. Her apartment door was unlocked. Inside, everything was neat. Too neat. Shoes lined perfectly. Dishes washed and stacked. Her phone sat on the table, screen cracked, battery dead. In the bathroom mirror, I saw something that made my knees go weak. Handprints. Bare. Muddy. Pressed against the glass from the inside. I heard movement in the bedroom. Slow footsteps. I whispered her name. Someone answered. Yeah. Her voice. She stepped into the hallway, smiling. Same clothes. Same hair. Same little scar on her chin from when we were kids. But something was wrong. She didn't blink. Not once. You look tired, she said. You should sit. I backed toward the door. Where is she? I asked. Her smile stretched, just slightly too wide. I'm right here. Behind her, I saw it. The reflection in the mirror didn't match her movements. It stood closer. Taller. Its mouth opened a moment too late. I ran. I didn't stop until sunrise. The police found her 2 days later, walking barefoot along the edge of the city park, confused, dehydrated, alive. She doesn't remember me anymore. Not my face. Not my name. But sometimes, she calls me by accident. And when she does, there's breathing on the line. Slow. Careful. Waiting. I don't answer unknown numbers anymore. I don't look too long at mirrors. And I never go anywhere quiet. Because it doesn't replace you all at once. First it learns your voice. Then your face. Then someone you love. And when there's nothing left to copy, that's when it comes for you. I thought it wanted my life. My voice. My face. My place in the world. I was wrong. It wanted something simpler. Stillness. After my sister was found, I stopped running. Running only makes sense when something is chasing you. This wasn't chasing. It was waiting. Weeks passed. Then months. No calls. No footsteps. No shadows that didn't belong to me. I started sleeping with the lights off again. Started trusting mirrors, just a little. That's when the dream started. I was back in the village. Every time. The houses were closer together now, like they had shifted inward. The jungle pressed against the walls. Roots breaking through stone. Doors breathing slowly, opening and closing on their own. And always, the abandoned house. In the dream, I finally went inside. There was no furniture, no dust, no decay, just walls covered in handprints. Hundreds of them. Different sizes, different shapes. Some human, some not. In the center of the room stood a figure, tall and unfinished. Its surface kept changing. skin sliding, rearranging, like it couldn't decide what it was supposed to be. When it turned toward me, it wore my face. But older, calmer. Why me? I asked it. It tilted its head. You noticed, it said. The dream stopped after that. And something else began. People around me started acting empty. Not wrong. Just thinner. Like less of them was inside their bodies. A cashier who forgot how to count change halfway through. A coworker who stared at their screen for hours without blinking. One night, I saw a man standing in the middle of the street, head tilted back, smiling at nothing. I knew that smile. That's when I understood. It doesn't hunt individuals. It hollows places, villages, forests, cities, anywhere quiet enough for people to disappear slowly. It doesn't replace everyone, just enough. Enough to thin the world out. I went back one last time. Not to the village. To the road where it all started. The forest was louder now. Birds screaming. Wind snapping branches. Nature fighting to stay noticed. At the edge of the trees, I felt it. Not watching. Not hiding. Present. Like gravity. You don't need me anymore, I said out loud. And for the first time, it answered from everywhere. We never did. I still feel it sometimes. In elevators when no one talks. In empty trains. In rooms where everyone is scrolling instead of looking up. It's not behind you. It's not in the dark. It's in the moments when nothing feels wrong, but nothing feels real either. And if you're listening to this alone, in silence, pay attention. Because that feeling you just had, that wasn't fear. That was recognition.